All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Starladder Season 8, Day 11. I'm Zyori. Joining me once again is at Hippie Casting. The old Dota Radio guys are back at it once again here. He's filling in for Merlini for the latter portion of the cast today. Hello and welcome to you, sir.
I feel very welcome. I feel particularly welcome on this fine day. We get to see Na'Vi play Aspera. How pumped are you?
I'm always pumped up to see the mighty Na'Vi take on anyone, and even the likes of Aspera. Now, I gotta point out, sad times for Aspera. They've got 3 stand-ins here, Hippie, and that's no good. Tapor, Tamash, and Lucky, the 3 stand-ins we saw yesterday and perhaps the day before as well. Not bad stand-ins, but still stand-ins nonetheless. That team cohesion may be, well, something Aspera will have to overcome here in this match. Overcome in this match. Oh, poor little buggers. Let's talk about this draft a little bit here, though. Some support's going to be banned out by Na'Vi, Venomancer, and Crystal Maiden. Pugna, OD going to be banned out by Aspera. That did open up for the first pick. Elder Titan going the way of Naudus Vincere. Aspera grabbed themselves Enchantress Weaver, and then, of course, Visage snagged by the, I was going to say Ukrainian champions, but only a couple of them are Ukrainian.
Navi's turn to pick.
Pretty open-ended draft on both sides, though. The first pick, Enchantress, is a little bit interesting. She's not one that often makes it into that first pick slot.
I think it's just, I mean, she is a strong hero, and I think it's also, okay, we can get a strong hero, and we don't have to deal with Puppy's Enchantress, that's a pretty big boost.
Yeah. That's true. There is a bit of a deny pick there coming out, but Na'Vi actually going to third pick the Wisp, which is exciting. We've been seeing teams now using the Wisp a bit more and more. There was that window where it was just Fnatic in 6.79, and now everyone else is trying to get on some of the EO love. And as you mentioned this morning in the morning show, talking about Alliance switching up their draft style a little bit, perhaps Na'Vi looking to expand their repertoire of heroes. And, well, Wisp fits in well with that, and this is another one of these situations, as you talked about, an important game where they'll be trying their hardest, but they can't afford to drop a game or two here in the round robin of Starladder Season 8, so what time better than now to experiment?
I don't think Wisp is that much of an experimentation. He's certainly something. I think the Riki is a bigger experimentation for them.
Yes.
That's traditionally Loda's domain, playing the Wisp Riki, but this is something Alliance has done it very successfully. Wisp still has all the global power that he had previously. I mean, he's not god tier anymore, obviously, but that's the thing, I think. People were so used to him being so unbelievably powerful that as soon as you had to, like, actually pick a lineup around him that wasn't just, there's all these heroes that work great with Wisp. As soon as you had to focus a little bit more on the draft, people were afraid to pick him up a little bit more, and certainly afraid to pick him up early because, it's a little easier to draft against him now that he's less good. But that doesn't make him any less strong in just the fact that he can be anywhere. And I think a lot of people just forgot how strong that is until people like Fnatic, people like DK at MLG Columbus reminded people this hero is really good.
Absolutely right. Now, I think a Clockwork would be the final nail in the coffin here for what Na'Vi want with this lineup, and he is not banned here. No,
because Dendi hates Elder Titan.
Dendi hates Elder Titan.
Playing Elder Titan.
I'm sticking to my guns here, man. I think they want to experiment, and they want to try something new, and they're going to say, Dendi...
Maybe, but I think he just... It's not about, like, I can't play the hero. It's about, please don't pick me that hero. I'm miserable when I play him.
Well, all right. Maybe Clockwork will be grabbed by Aspera here. They will have that option, but I don't know how they probably don't need him. They have a weird setup here. They're probably going to have to offlane that Weaver and do like a Rubik Lifestealer safe lane with Enchantress in the jungle, so they're going to need a mid hero here. Clockwork just doesn't fit in with what they want. I mean, Clockwork could go mid, so that is an option. They could put Weaver mid, put him in the off lane, but this Aspera draft is a little bit strange. Another one of these where they have individually powerful heroes, but they've got virtually no lockdown, except for the telekinesis from Rubik and whatever Enchantress takes under her control. And they're going to grab a Wind Ranger, so I'm kind of curious about who's going to be mid here. It could be a mid Wind Ranger. But
I was looking for something with a little more mobility, like a Storm, like Puck.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, someone with a little more control. I mean, not to say... I mean, Wind Ranger has the Shackle Shot, so she has some great lockdown. You were mentioning they need a little bit of lockdown. But I would just like someone who's a little more of a positioning aid for the Lifestealer. On the other hand, if you can stun them down enough to prevent him from getting kited in the first place, you could still be okay.
Yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
So, yeah, I mean, Wind Ranger definitely not bad here, and she is going to help deal with that lack of crowd control they have. But, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. Something about their lineup. I just don't see that big, super scary like, they have strong heroes if they win the laning phase, and I think their laning phase is just okay. And I think that's going to be something that I have to deal with. I mean, Riki can very quickly get out of control. He is, in my opinion, kind of the, well, maybe not the definition of a snowball hero, but he definitely can snowball. And right around that level 6, level 7 mark, depending on what build he goes for here, just get a couple of those early agi items. And boy, can he hit really hard relative to everyone else if you go level 7, 4 points in the backstab, which is the pretty popular common build these days. So I don't know. I think that's just going to be something scary that Aspera will have to deal with, and I'm not sure that they're equipped to deal with said Riki-ness. Also, I like the clockwork paired with Riki, because you throw somebody in cogs, put the smoke cloud on top of them, and you're stuck in that smoke cloud, hippie, and that's not a good time for anyone.
Yeah, and it's actually reasonably strong. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the clockwork in the lineup. I just don't think, all right, they're going to do the puck.
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, I don't think they wanted to put Dendi clockwork mid when they could get something like a puck. I think they were actually probably expecting Aspera to take puck, but regardless, the smoke cloud is really, really good against both the Lifestealer and the Weaver. So that's very, very significant, because especially because the Lifestealer won't be building a BKB.
Yeah.
So locking off his rage is pretty darn huge, and of course, Riki stacks up a ton of armor just because of his natural... I mean, you're building a whole ton of agility on him, so Lifestealer doesn't even kill him as quickly as he takes down a lot of other heroes who might be more stacking towards the health end of things.
Yeah. Absolutely. We did actually see that combo yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday, with a Riki Clockwork on the same team, and that exact same synergy against a Weaver, where we're like, well, they don't have much to lock down this Weaver. And then we saw that combo where Clockwork hookshots, cogs, Weaver, yeah, he goes invisible, but who cares? And then he gets stuck in the cloud, can't time-lapse, can't do anything, and that is one sad Weaver when that happens. So, as you pointed out, maybe not the best in this particular matchup, but one of those things to just keep on the back burner when you see a Riki pick. That combo can be a bit potent at times. But alas, here we do have Na'Vi in their first of actually 2 games today. Of course, this is Na'Vi versus Aspera, and coming up next will be Na'Vi versus the Retry. So we'll get to see how they will how they'll fare against the mighty Na'Vi. Let's go ahead and introduce our rosters here. On our Radiant side, we have a 5-man death ball to start things off. We'll see where the laning situation ends up, because they do have some interesting lanes at that and a couple of options. I think it is indeed going to be a mid-wind runner, as it is Sharfik in control of that hero, and he tends to be their mid player. Ink Visitor going to be the one on the Rubik, probably going to be supporting down here in the bottom lane. Tomash going to be on the Weaver. We got Topor playing on the Lifestealer, and who are we missing? Oh, there he is, Lucky over there with the Caboose, playing on the Enchantress. Gonna move into a pause here, unfortunately. And uh-oh, Funnick, he may bump into a little bit of trouble here.
Are they tossing the offlane if they wanna run the Windrunner mid? No, never mind. I'm dumb.
Okay.
Sorry, my bad. I just completely wasn't thinking.
I'll second the notion. No, just kidding. No, you're yeah, Weaver offlane, I guess.
For some reason, I was like, okay, so Windrunner's gonna go mid. That means Weaver is gonna go mid, and then who's going in the offlane? that was literally my thought process. Then I went back and looked. I was like, wait a second, something's not kosher here.
Wait a tick. This math is not adding up. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll see Tomash go to that offlane, and Weaver can do all right in that offlane. I'm actually kind of curious to see how Na'Vi are going to lane this particularly. It looks like it will be an up-top tri-lane Wisp, Visage, Riki in the safe lane, Dendi mid, of course, and it looks like Elder Titan is going to be in the long lane, though Funnick, he is going to get caught right here, but they're not going to go for it. Topor are going to double back. They're not going to have the resources, so he's just going to get that ward down, and he's going to head for the hills. That is good news there for Mr. Funnick. All right, let's look at our Dire side. So last, that is how the lanes are going to settle down, at least to start things off. It is going to be Kuroki playing on the EO. Funnick going to be on the Elder Titan. In the mid, going to be Dendi playing on one of his signatures, Mr. Puck. Puppy going to be on the Visage here. And up in the top lane, going to be Havost farming away on the Riki Maru. And wow, look at that Riki set. Wow, that is sharp. I don't think I've ever seen this Riki set. It looks pretty cool. I like that headpiece.
I'm not a fan of the headpiece. I do like the daggers, the shadow shards.
Yeah, they're pretty clutch.
I actually think that maybe Kuroki is going to move top and tri-lane, but it's just weird to me. We've talked a lot of times in 7-8 about how Wisp wasn't great in the tri-lane because he needs the extra experience. Now, oh no, it looks like he might be hanging out with Funnick to try and get a gank on this mid lane. Yep. Oh, Inquisitor could be in trouble.
Oh no, they're on the high ground. He's going to walk right into it. Double damage on Elder Titan should make this a pretty easy kill. He's going to have that movement speed advantage. Easiest first blood of his life right there. You activated my trap card, Yugi. Ink Visitor going to fall right for it. So there it is. Now Wisp going to tether to the mid. And Kuroki just going to rotate his way up top. He got what he came for. He got Funnick a little bit of burst, or a little boost to start things off. And, yeah, he also did go boots first. So that would have been an easy kill either way. Would have been able to chase him down. Very nicely done by Na'Vi. Off to one hell of a start here.
Yes, I don't know. Wisp is just the one thing. He's going to be a little lacking on the experience points. But with not much pressure coming into the top lane, he should be able to get whatever he needs to get that level 6 reasonably quickly. Just make sure Havost gets that early farm.
Yep, absolutely right. As you mentioned, that is one of the banes of Wisp. He needs that experience. Doesn't really come online till level 6, but it looks like Visage will be okay in the jungle. Oh god, pardon me. Puppy gonna creep pull here, and I think he'll spend a good bit of time in the jungle. He did stack it already, so he's off to a pretty solid start. But other than that, not too much craziness happening here in our early game. Everybody just farming away. Let's talk about the mid matchup a little bit, though. It is Wind Ranger versus the Mighty Puck. We have seen Windrunner in the mid a little bit, but against Puck, I guess it's a fairly kind of a wash matchup here. Windrunner does tend to fare best against physical damage dealers because of that wind run. So I guess Puck does have kind of an edge, as that magic damage is not thwarted by the wind run. But still,
I'd actually I'd give it to Puck just because of phase shift.
Yeah.
Because if she tries to line up an arrow that you can't dodge, you can just phase shift it, or you can phase shift the shackles. There's just a million things you can do with phase shift. Anyone who's relying, yeah, right there, bam. Like Sharfik, he can get the last hits with it, but Dendi will actually be able to get the harass in on him with the orb. Even though the orb is an easier dodge, the phase shift makes all of Windrunner's harass trivial.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. So, all right, we're both in agreement then. Puck does have the upper hand here in the mid lane over the Windrunner. But Sharfik doing all right. He's at least holding his own for now. He's going to be 6-0 against the 10-8 Dendi. So Dendi off to a slightly better start here. And some of that could just be personal skill. Dendi is well, one of the best mid players in the world. And nothing against Sharfik, but Dendi is definitely, well, quite the worthy adversary. Down in the bottom lane, though, looks like Tapor on the Lifestealer off to a pretty decent start. He's just free farming away down here. Elder Titan harassing a bit here and there with the Astral Spirit. Funnick doing what he can, and just trying to stay in experience range, which he's doing quite well. He's actually just about to hit level 4, so he's doing just fine in the off lane. And he's sitting 5-0. His counterpart, the Weaver, sitting 4-1, and he is level 3. So all in all, Funnick doing pretty well in that off lane. And for Aspera, their Weaver just going to take a long time to come online here. As Kuroki goes toe-to-toe with him. Uh-oh, Kuroki needs to be a little bit careful. It's going to be fine. He can tether away, but still living life on the edge. But speaking of life on the edge, Funnick going to be in a little bit of trouble down here. Lucky and Ink Visitor are going to bring their way down. That's going to be a Hellbear Smasher. Is going to use the Thunderclap. I think this is going to be a kill on old Funnick here. Elder Titan not going to survive this one. Down he goes. Lucky on the Enchantress. Going to grab that last hit. That'll make it 1-for-1. They get a little bit of vengeance after Ink Visitor conceded that unfortunate first blood.
Yeah, lucky for Funnick, though, he had actually just picked up his Soul Ring recipe and then had money for a TP scroll, so he loses very little gold. And he's going to TP himself back to lane and pick up his recipe right there at the tower. That's cute.
Oh, look at that. A nice little play. The Na'Vi Courier. Oh, match made in heaven. Yeah, it's going to be the Soul Ring.
It's cuter before it gets upgraded. I'm not a fan of the bird, not going to lie.
So, still a really relatively quiet game, though, here as we approach that 4-minute mark. We'll see who's going to grab the runes. Puppy camping out the top, and actually Funnick camping out the bottom. It is going to be Funnick to grab himself another double damage rune. It's going to be 2 out of 3 runes, double damage, going the way of Funnick. And he's just going to go straight towards the mid lane, as will Puppy. Now Sharfik going to be in a little bit of trouble. Of course, does have the wind run, is going to use it here, but they're going to pursue. They're not afraid of this tower. And Puppy going to throw the burst. Funnick going to come in for that one last hit, perhaps. Oh, going to take a good bit of damage from that Wind Ranger before she falls, but not going to find the tower attacks. And that is going to be a kill going the way of Na'Vi. Needless to say, Dendi now going to pick up a lot of momentum in the mid lane. Going to have the opportunity for free farm while Windrunner's taking a bath in the well. And, yeah, now going to have a big level advantage. 1 creep from level 6. That's when Puck really gets scary.
Yeah, just, especially if you can kind of make that advantage felt on the other lanes, this could go out of control very, very quickly. That's one of the things that Puck is just absurdly good at, is beating up on under-leveled supports and tri-lanes. Like, anyone who's just kind of sitting together. Ooh, Mickey.
That Weaver just got juiced. Havo said, hey man, I'm thirsty. Let me throw him in the juicer. I don't know how good Weaver drink is going to taste, but just absolutely disintegrated right there. And actually, Havo's not doing that build that I was talking about. Only 1 point in backstab, going for the value point, and then going to go level 5, 3 points blink strike. But that was just a couple of 1 auto attack. Weaver, you're only level 3. Smoke cloud, blink strike, boom, that's a kill. Easy peasy. So that is great news for Na'Vi.
the levels in Blink Strike are actually pretty darn good in terms of the damage output because they cut the cooldown down very nicely, and having that 5-second 120 damage nuke that's also a positioning tool is amazing harass, especially because it's only 50 mana. If you have someone who's spamming in lane like Weaver is, you'll get a lot of stick charges to keep yourself sustained right there, and another dead Wind Ranger.
Yep. And that's exactly what we were talking about. As soon as Puck gets level 6, he becomes a new beast. Going to burn the Dream Coil right there. And yeah, Wind Run might keep you alive for another second or two, but not going to do much against that Dream Coil. And I missed the beginning of that initiation, but still a pretty easy kill for Na'Vi, it looks like. And Puck going to be level 7 now against the level 5 Wind Ranger. And this is when that mid lane just becomes unwinnable for the Wind Ranger. You got to have some rotations come in. You need some support. And, well, Sharfik has some support coming his way, but it's a little bit rough. I mean, Enchantress just farming away. She doesn't have too much to her name quite yet. And Rubik, I mean, he can only do so much to try and help shut down that Puck. One of the problems with Puck is when you're up against a Puck that's starting to snowball a little bit, you know, Rubik can very quickly become more of a liability than an asset because Dendi can put out a lot of AoE burst damage. And if Rubik's not careful, he can end up just conceding another death the way of Dendi. You know, rather than the opposite, which is helping his buddy Wind Ranger stay alive. And now we see Havos just trying to bully this Weaver out of the lane here. Weaver only level 4. Now that Riki's level 6, Havos is just constantly chipping away at him as soon as he shows his face.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the power of the Riki. He's everywhere at once. Now, I think, Kuroki. Tethering the invisible Havos. How cute. I'm pretty sure they actually can't see that, the tether while he's invisible, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Don't take that as gospel.
That I'm not sure about. Not something I've thought of. But in the mid lane again, Sharfik, same story, different chapter. Let's call that page 2. And same rotation from Dendi, going to be the Dream Coil. And this is what happens when you get one of those early kills and snowballs come the way of Puck. Not looking good. Not looking good for Aspera here. Let's take a glimpse at the gold graph. 2,000 experience and gold alike here at the 7.5 minute mark.
One of the things that's really, really nice about Puck is, you know, not only is he somebody who snowballs really, really well because he can get that extra damage, he can get those extra levels. Getting the extra Blink Dagger is very, very significant if you get it faster than the normal pace. But on top of that, he's already so naturally hard to kill that it's not like, oh, well, he got a kill, we better rotate to slow him down. It's very, very difficult to stop a Puck, and Lifestealer is probably dead.
Yep, he's in big trouble. Smoke Cloud to start off. He is going to be able to infest one of the dire creeps here, so they won't be able to deny it. That's going to keep him alive for a little while longer here. Surprise inside. I guess he's just going to have to hang around. I mean, eventually this creep will fall. Havos is just waiting for it. He knows. He's ready. There it is.
Down for him, though.
Yep, Tapor going to pop out, and that's it. They're going to back off for now, but Dendi's going to come down. Rubik going to scatter it out with the illusions. And everyone from Aspera going to be headed for the hills here. Dendi looking feisty. He's got that Dream Coil up in just a couple of seconds. And maybe able to catch themselves a Rubik? No, not quite. And, you know, I saw someone in chat following up to my my Weaver juice. He gets turned into Beetlejuice. Oh, how did I not think of that? I can't believe I didn't think about that.
That's exactly the kind of joke you would make. That's the worst
I know.
part.
I can't believe it didn't come to mind. Gonna turn him into Beetlejuice. Weaver, though, one creep from level 6. This could be, well, a little scary. Tamash getting a bit aggressive here. A little lag spike as the familiars popped out. And, nope, not going to find it. So, yeah, now level 6 Visage. That is big news. Always big news. Turns into kind of a different presence once he gets the birds on the map. And they're trying to find this Weaver. He's still level 5. Didn't get that one little bit of experience that he desperately needed. That deny is actually going to give it to him. And now going to be level 6. But lucky, not going to be so lucky here as Havos tracks him down. One more Blink Strike ought to do it. He's going to get fogged for now. Havos needs to be a little careful here. There's the Telekinesis. Enchantress still going to fall. Elder Titan going to do it with the Astral Spirit. Now Havos in big trouble. Can he blink out? Nope, just going to try and blink aggressively. Not going to be enough. While all this was happening, Puck did get a kill up in the top lane onto the Weaver. But, oh, Funnick going to get chased down. Power shot, oh, barely off the mark. Probably would have been enough for a kill, if not very close. And Funnick will survive to tell the tale.
Man, they probably could have gotten Funnick, except they didn't, the Rubik Telekinesis. Okay, so Wind Ranger landed a shackle, right? And then the Rubik Telekinesis tossed the Ricky right out of the way of the power shots. They didn't get that initial damage, so he lived for a lot longer than he should have. Funnick had a chance to run away. Just a little bit of lack of communication. We were talking about the stand-ins. Maybe they're just not used to that kind of combo right there. Although that was, that's Inquisitor and Sharfik. Never mind.
Yeah.
That's the two real team members.
The two team members that are used to playing with one another. It's true, though. I mean, it is a fair thing to point out that having 3 stand-ins really does hinder your teamwork ability, and those little things like that you sort of say to yourself, well, they're all pro players. That doesn't mean they're all going to have that same mindset of, are we going to toss him left or right with the telekinesis? Do I go in or do I run? Is this an aggression or is this a defensive, like everybody run for the hills kind of stuff? And that's where that teamwork and team experience really starts to come into play. But interestingly enough, Lifestealer is actually number 1 on the net worth chart here. He is farming quite well and does have himself a hand of Midas. Yeah, exactly right. So giving him a little bit of an edge. 1 hand of Midas out for Na'Vi. It is going to be on Funnick on that Elder Titan. But almost an armlet already for the Lifestealer. Actually does have it, I think, just waiting for that courier to bring it to him. Just waiting for that one last blade of attack, pardon me. So very close to grabbing that armlet. So he's off to an okay start, but Na'Vi still grabbing a lot of momentum here. 3,000 gold lead, 3,000 experience lead. And of course, Havos nipping at his heels. That's that early agility build I was talking about. Going to go power tread straight into Yasha. And oh my word, oh my Atlanta, I just missed a kill on the Enchantress.
Radiant's
Yes,
bottom
I mean,
tower is
Puck.
under attack.
Puck happened. Puck with a DD, man. What are you going to do about that?
Yeah, that one's my
Again,
bad.
this is, for all the farm the Lifestealer is getting, if you look, so he's at the top of the net worth chart, right? It's about
Yep.
5,500.
Is
But then you
Funnick.
have 4 of Na'Vi's heroes.
Radiant's
Yep.
Before you get to the
tower is
Wind
under
Ranger,
attack.
who has 2,700. She's less farmed than the Visage.
Yeah.
And, there's times when you can say, oh, we're getting farm on our carry. This isn't one of those where it's worth it.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, Dendy.
Yeah, Dendy just going to obliterate the masses up here. Wind Ranger and Rubik going to pay the ultimate price. And, Wisp's going to bring Havos back down to the bottom lane. Kuroki may pay with his life here. And, Tapor going to hop inside a creep. He will infest. Havos going to get a bit aggressive here. There's the smoke cloud. He's going to get healed up by the Wisp. Are they going to have the damage here? Not going to be able to get the backstabs. There's the blink behind him. Havos, he's not going to come out ahead. Oh, no. A big misplay here for Na'Vi. They're going to concede 2 easy deaths to the Lifestealer. 2 solo kills. A lot of experience going his way. And, of course, getting that valuable kill on the Riki Maru. Wow. Well played there by the Lifestealer.
Armlet toggles.
Yeah,
That's
seriously.
what that was, man. You saw him in between the Ricky attacks. He was very, very careful not to do it when there was a Spirit nearby, not to do it when there was a Wisp attack in the air. Very careful timing. I mean, it just proves that the armlet toggling, well, it did get nerfed. It's still a very, very powerful thing, and it just has a higher skill cap now, as well as not being able to, of course, give you... You could live through dots on it before with script. It was kind of ridiculous.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I think Armlet is in a pretty good place right now. I think it does what it's supposed to, whereas before it was kind of that staple, I'm stupid if I don't get this item. And now it's situational. It is the item that it's supposed to be rather than just being kind of broken. But looks like we will see some more aggression coming out of Na'Vi here in the mid lane. Havost is back from his first-class trip to the well. And he is going to stand on that high ground, just going to scout it out. One of the nice things about Riki, especially when your team has a bit of an advantage, you can serve as that kind of mobile ward. But, Sharfik, he's going to get obliterated as well. Dendy going to pop forward. And, of course, he does have a blink. Now level 11. Level 2 Dream Coil going to be a bit more potent. And I think Na'Vi may be able to grab themselves a Tier 1 tower kill. There is a glyph available for Aspera. But, yeah, there it is. They're going to use it. That will delay the push a little bit here. Na'Vi may try and reinitiate. Puck getting very aggressive. And just looking for an opportunity. Is going to burn the Dream Coil. That'll be the end of Ink Visitor. Sort of 2 fights transpiring here as Tapor going around the backside, trying to finish off the Wisp. He's going to get him with right clicks. Now he's going to go for Havost as well. Havost in tower range. Oh, he's barely going to be able to blink strike away, though the Weaver going to be in hot pursuit. Now Puck may be in a little bit of trouble here. He is going to orb away. Going to be able to phase shift, and Dendy will survive without too much trouble. Havost going to make it out with just a few hit points to spare. All the while, though, Na'Vi doing sort of multifaceted fights about the map here. Funnick, yeah, he's in no man's land. Diving that tier 2, he's going to go down. And that'll be a kill away the Wind Ranger.
Na'Vi not playing as coordinated as we might expect. I think they might not be taking this quite as seriously as they should. But, they definitely have a good lead. They're definitely doing well. But if you let that Lifestealer come back in, he is going to definitely be a threat. But Dendy going in on Sharfik. That was nowhere for him to go. And Lifestealer too.
Yeah. Oh, Havost, he's going to try to go toe-to-toe with him. He is going to survive for now. And the orb going to come out from the Rubik. That was a stolen orb, almost connecting with the Vos, but they do survive. A sentry does come down. That's going to make things a little bit easier for our Radiant side. Actually, EO going to get picked off, but as will the Rubik. Another double damage on Dendy, making him quite the machine gun. And down goes Enchantress. Na'Vi finding the better of it. Dendy just on fire this game. 7-0-5 at the 15-minute mark. It doesn't get much better than that in terms of a solo mid puck.
Yeah, he's definitely had exactly the impact he needs to. As soon as he got that level 6, pretty much every time his ult has come off cooldown, he's landed a kill or more.
Yeah.
He's been, you know, traditional Dendy, all around the map, setting up multiple kills. It's exactly what he does best. He is an impact mid player. He doesn't sit there and farm. And that's kind of the reason, one of the reasons he doesn't like Elder Titan. I feel like, ooh.
Speaking of Elder Titan, yeah, Funnet gonna get caught. And, well, very unfortunate. Shackle going to make that an easy kill. And this Weaver is starting... I take that back. I was going to say starting to come online. He's got nothing. I thought he might have a Midas by now. That was one of those I spoke and made an assumption and was just dead wrong. Weaver is still so far behind and has very little to his name right now. But this Lifestealer is sort of a different story. 1,700 in the bank now that he's going to finish off that top tier 1 tower. At least one tower kill going the way of Aspera. They're still in it. They've still got, well, a mountain to climb, but 5,000 gold, 5,000 experience. Could be a lot worse here at the 16-minute mark, though. Na'Vi will start to get a bit more aggressive about pushing as well. Going to take out that bottom tier 1. So it's a tier 1 for tier 1 exchange, and that mid tier 1 did fall, I guess, during that last fight. I did miss if it was denied or picked off, but Na'Vi going to have a tower advantage, 2-1 here.
I believe it was destroyed. I could
think,
be wrong, but I believe it was destroyed by
was
creeps
too.
while that fight was going off.
Just didn't make a mental note of it. So still...
Dendy going in again in the mid lane!
Whoa! Dendy, yeah, there it is. Going to be able to finish off the Rubik. Uh-oh, a relocate coming in as well. They're going to... Pause. So, okay, this is an interesting time to pause. Tomash with the apology.
Tactical pause.
Okay, so now...
Did Sharvik already burn his wind run? No, he didn't. He still has that available.
Dendy's in kind of an odd spot here. He is going to get open wounded with a regeneration on. So again, multiple fights going to transpire here. Dendy taking a lot of damage, but oh man, they obliterate the Windrunner. And now Havost, well, going to try to go for Lucky. I think the Enchantress is going to be hard-pressed to survive this one. And now it's just going to be the Wisp. And oh no! He cancels the tether! Havost going to get left behind! Oh no! He is going to blink to one of the creeps, but the creeps very well may finish him down. He goes. Oh my, that was so unfortunate. If only he could have gone back with his Wisp brethren.
Yeah. I'll tell you exactly what happened is he didn't realize there was a sentry there. He thought he was safe. Because if Host was trying to disengage, he just went invisible. That sentry got placed during the last fight.
Yeah.
And they've been fighting around it the entire time. So then Havost was sitting there. He's like, okay, I'm safe. Wait a minute, they're hitting me. What? And he tried to blink away. But the Lifestealer AoE, too strong in the end.
Yeah. Absolutely right. So Na'Vi going to take another successful team fight there. Now going to be 20-9 here at the 17.5-minute mark. And Visage going to grab himself a mech, a great item for this bit of early to mid-game aggression that Na'Vi have been putting out. Always a good team fight item early on. Still no mech, even close for Aspera. And I don't even see anybody working on one. So that's going to further the edge here of Na'Vi. And I'll talk about a nice mid-game oriented item. One of my favorites. You know, just yesterday, Merlini and I had a discussion about what's your top underrated item in competitive right now. And he said some items. I think he said Pipe. That was his number one. And I went with Vlad's. And we've seen at least 4 Vlad's today. There was one game where each team had a Vlad's. I can't even remember the last time that happened. I'd love to see it picked up by Havost here. I think it's a smart choice.
I think it's highly dependent on the lineup, but yeah, it can be very, very strong in any sort of mid-game lineup. When you already have an advantage, you're dealing with physical damage, especially with the Weaver and the Enchantress creeps, and the Lifestealer, of course, putting out a whole ton of physical compared to everyone else. It's going to be mitigating a whole lot. Earth Splitter flying just to zone. It does catch Lucky out of his smoke. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, but Roshan will fall essentially uncontested here. Of course, Riki going to be the one to grab the Aegis, and uh-oh, here they're trying to pursue. Dendy going to come out. All that burst damage going to finish off the Enchantress. Lifestealer going to fall shortly after, and actually a nice 700 gold bounty going to go the way of the Wisp for grabbing that kill.
Riki going in the front.
Yep, Rubik going to get killed here. Riki, going to the front lines. Where are they going to go? Are they going to find this sneaky Weaver? Nope, Tomash going to be able to Shikuchi away, and he shall survive. At least for now. Dendy looking for him, not going to find it. And now Na'Vi may be able to grab themselves kind of a tier 2 tower kill in the mid lane. This has been a rough game for camera work, man. Every single one of these team fights has been several small fights, all sort of in a similar area, rather than these actual big 5v5 engagements. It's been hard to capture all of it on camera, but Na'Vi obviously
very,
going to...
very mobile heroes. So,
Yeah.
they're basically just going everywhere. One of them disengages
Radiant's
in one
middle
direction, the
tower
others
has
disengage in
fallen.
the other, and then there's chasing going on
Dire's
because there are
bottom
other
tower
mobile
is
heroes
under
trying to
attack.
continue the pressuring. And Havos getting picked up.
Yep, here we go. He is going to blink
is he?
forward, though. He's going to go on to Ink Visitor. Wind Ranger does fall to start things off. That's going to proc the Aegis. And hopefully he can blink to someone to get back to safety. And he's going to be able to. It may cost him a Kuroki, though. He's trying to move around the trees. Mech going to be used. This Wisp somehow still alive. Regenerating, sipping up what he can. Now Dendy going to come back in. Needs to be a little bit careful here. Does have an Orchid. That'll be the end of the Life Stealer. And Tamash going to be able to grab a kill on the Wisp, though. Is it going to cost him his life? No. Going to have a nice time lapse. And is going to move into the Radiant jungle. So still Na'Vi going to come out ahead. But that Wisp, man, he made the great escape. He survived much longer than he should have, in my humble opinion. Those bottle charges really coming in handy. Tranquil Boots as well. But,
Hey, man.
yeah.
Don't forget that heal from Puppy. Very, very clutch mech kept him alive for a long time. That the mech versus no mech is really, really apparent here. You know, you have the Nature's Attendance. Nature's Attendance is really, really good, but it's not instant, and it's just not as big of an AoE as mech.
Yeah, absolutely. Mech is just so important in these kind of games where there's a lot of early and mid-game aggression. We see Riki hopping forward. They're actually going to use a Dust on him, but I don't know if they're going to have any aggression to finish him off. Dendy going to throw the ultimate, and that'll finish off the Enchantress. Poor Enchantress, man. She has just never been able to pick up any momentum in this game. And same with really all the supports of Aspera. 0-8 onto the Rubik. And I was going to call Wind Ranger a support, but she was actually the mid-hero, looking like she may end 1-8 as well, as Na'Vi getting close to that insurmountable lead here. I think they've already hit it. 20,000 gold, 20,000 experience. They're at that 1,000 XP gold lead a minute mark, which is pretty damn good. Weaver going to get melted, going to turn into Beetlejuice again here, and they're just going to pursue forward. Wind Ranger now going to fall. And Tapor, yeah, he's going to suffer the same fate. There's the GG from Sharfik. An interesting game, action-packed. Aspera doing what they can with their 3 stand-ins, but Na'Vi going to best them here in this BO1. Well played by both sides.
That Beetlejuice thing is never going to die, is it?
I don't know. I like it.
For the next, like, few months.
Well, I've been saying juiced a lot. That's a vernacular I've tried to work in, so it was too appropriate right there. I couldn't resist.
All right. I'll give it to you. I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. But Dendy really having a great game there, ending 12-0-13, involved in 25 of the 31 kills Na'Vi were able to put on the board. I don't care how one-sided you thought that game was. That was one hell of a puck showing.
Hey, man. Like we said earlier, he did exactly what he needed to. He got ahead in the mid lane. He took over the rest of the game. Bam. Proper puck play.
Absolutely. So we have one more match coming up for you guys here. Next will be Na'Vi versus the Retry for our 5th and final match of the day for Starladder Season 8 Day 11 coverage here on Beyond the Summit. I'm Zayori. With me is Hippie. Thank you for joining us, folks. One more coming your way. Don't nobody go nowhere.